It's interesting actually that you put it actually that way, because probably within the offices actually we sometimes wish there was an approach that we could always rely on, because it's not that way. You know, any given project is always approached uniquely for what it is, and it would be nice if there was a Foster and Partners tape that we could play to ourselves to say, this is how we design buildings. Oh yeah, okay, I remember now, I can do it. It's not like that, and every given project is a unique response to whatever is influencing it at that moment in time, and the people that are doing it. So if any given team, even within a Foster and Partners office or a Rocco's office or an OMA office, I'm sure if within those offices you had two separate teams who didn't talk to each other and gave them exactly the same brief with exactly the same context and exactly the same client, you would end up with two totally different buildings. And that, I guess, is kind of proof in itself that within the offices there is no general approach. It's just the resultant of what you see. So I like the idea that there's a way forward to design systematically to design a Foster and Partners building, but I've not come across it, and so I'd like it, but I don't think it exists.
Thank you. The West Kowloon Cultural District certainly is going to be one of the largest, if not the largest, cultural district ever built. It's also perhaps an opportunity to deal with what many other cultural districts have done, is rather that they were grown and evolved rather than designed. This is probably the first cultural district of its size to be master planned. I guess my question has more to do with what we're going to see in May 16, 2030 or something like that, or even beyond, in what the challenges are to be able to conceive and execute such a large extent of culture, and how maybe another part of the question is, how do you all see culture evolving over the next 20 or 30 years?
This is a West Kowloon question again. So I might sidestep the first bit and go to the second one. How is culture going to evolve over the next 30 years? I haven't got the faintest idea. I think that it's incredibly hard to imagine how culture will evolve within the next 3 months, let alone the next 30 years, really. I think all that we can do, all of us involved in this extraordinary project, is try our utmost to encapsulate all the lessons that we've all learned and sort of put in practice all the things that we've been discussing, and to sort of hope that what we can put forward is in some ways a reflection on all the issues that have been raised, and all the aspirations for the people of Hong Kong and all the aspirations for all of us. It's certainly going to be probably beyond any of us, I think, to imagine where culture will be in the future. We just, I suppose, have to try and provide a framework that can somehow respond to changes in culture, and hope that the buildings or the framework that we have can respond appropriately to culture, or maybe influence it over the next 30 years.
I mean, Colin is right. Nobody could predict the future, especially culture, because I think the biggest unknown is what art form will become popular, or what new art form would emerge. And that probably would change the whole face of culture. And as to what art form will emerge or what will become more popular, in fact, would also depends on what individual stars there will be in the next 20 years. Will there be a new Beatle? Will there be a new Michael Jackson? It depends on the worldwide trend, as well as on very much individual stars that would come about and change our perception of arts and culture. Now, nobody could predict that. It's a matter of genes, right? And DNA. So the biggest challenge for West Kowloon, and that's the West Kowloon project, is that we should keep our mind open. And we should know what to control and what not to control. Now, this is a very general statement. It could go wrong. But I think the secret of success is precisely that, knowing where to do what and to what extent we should exercise either control or relaxation. Nobody could predict that, again, at this point. The time will come and decision needs to be made. And that, maybe more than once, those would be the crucial moments. We could only pray at this point, I think.
Let me not repeat, or let me not try to say it in a different way, the same thing. What I and that's what I think what is needed to answer your question is not only control but also flexibility. Let's just start, and let's not plan it completely. I think if we would have the idea of planning this huge effort from A to Z and don't allow for any change, then we would not win for sure. So I think it is very clearly that we first start with A and see what B will be. So we need to, in a way, accommodate for change and growth over time. And that will be, of course, the biggest challenge of it all, because you have a brief that expresses to build over 10 theaters. And if you want to allow for change and growth, you should not build them all at the same time. So I think it is a way of not trying to predict, but also not to build everything in one go or maybe in 10 years, but take your time and see what happens and respond to what happens.
We have time for one or two more questions if anybody has them. If not, we'll thank our guests, thank the authority. Okay. Bye.
Thank you, Professor Lerner. Thank you, Mr. Ward, Mr. Yim, and Mr. Joe Norton. And a big thank you for being with us today, tonight. Thank you very much.